These are the images that dominated coverage of the latest student protest to hit the streets of London. The students were angry over government plans to increase tuition fees by up to 3 times to £9,000 a year and slash university teaching budgets by up to 80%. But an increasing number of voices are criticising the police for their tactics on the day. When the protesters reached the Treasury, the police set up a wall of steel, preventing them from getting any closer to Parliament. Another line of police boxed the protest in from behind, trapping thousands of university and high school students.
Downing Street is that way and the Liberal Democrat headquarters is that way, and they're not able to get to either side because of hundreds of police on both sides stopping them from breaking through.
Any attempt by the students to break out of the police kettle was beaten back, and 17 members of the public were injured, along with 2 police officers. At one point, the police charged into the crowd on horseback. Despite the clashes, many of the students insisted their quarrel wasn't with the police, but with the politicians.
I think people don't know what to do, you know, it's kind of like, again with that, the protest for the war, it was peaceful, but there were like 1 million people or whatever came onto the streets and nothing happened. They still went with it, they still went to war. We didn't want them to, so what can we do, you know? I think people getting frustrated.
The police have defended their kettling tactics, insisting they were necessary to ensure violence didn't spread across the city. But student groups have warned that the tactic only makes bad situations worse.
If the police want another generation of people that have no confidence in the police, then they're doing a very good job at that. So many students yesterday have now seen the full force of the police, totally unprovoked, and have lost all confidence in the police.
Trapped between lines of hundreds of police officers with no real prospect of getting out, the protesters set up camp and lit fires, just metres from Downing Street. As temperatures fell to near freezing in the capital, the students were kept waiting in the cold for up to 7 hours and forced to urinate on the streets. By the end of the night, 35 people were arrested. Despite all this, protest leaders have announced a further day of action on the 30th of November, and occupations of university buildings continue.
There has been criticism of the students' conduct in Parliament Street, but the focus is now shifting onto the police and whether their actions helped to turn what began as a peaceful protest into a violent confrontation. With many more student protests ahead, police tactics will be watched closely as the struggle between the students and the politicians continues. Hassan Ghani, Press TV, London.